What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Second Order Fantasy Football. Aaron Rodgers is returning to the Green Bay Packers on a 4-year, $200 million deal. So he's going to make about $50 million a year. Depending on however they positively or negatively regress that contract, that's going to be his average per year for the next 4 years, which is absolutely insane for an NFL quarterback, really just any athlete in general. But I'm going to break down how Aaron Rodgers returning impacts the fantasy landscape for 2022. So this takes away a lot of hypotheticals that we could have for the 2022 season. A lot of people felt that Aaron Rodgers could go to Denver. That was the big story last year that everybody was believing. Then there was the possibility that, he bought land in a Nashville area. He's going to go to the Tennessee Titans. But he's ultimately coming back to Green Bay. And there were a lot of questions about what this Green Bay team would look like if Aaron Rodgers were to leave. How would Jordan Love impact the offense? What would happen to Davante Adams? Would he go to another team? But at this point, it looks like we're going to be getting a lot of the same that we would have gotten in previous years from Green Bay. So you can kind of rely on a lot of those Green Bay players to relatively perform at about the same level, or at least the trends will kind of match up to what we were expecting from the 2021 season, because they're going to mostly be intact. I think this means that Davante Adams is going to be coming back more than likely. I don't think Aaron Rodgers would do this if there wasn't confirmation that they would bring him back. I think the biggest thing that came out yesterday that kind of made me feel like this was going to happen is the news that the salary cap was expanded. They expanded it from, I believe, 182.5 million up to about 200 million. So that's about $20 million increase for the salary cap. So because of that, I think that was what kind of made that push for Aaron Rodgers of, I'm going to come back to Green Bay now because I know I can get the money for one, and I'm going to have a competitive team that gives me a chance to win a championship. I think there were a lot of questions about, would he have a better chance in another team? But I think the news of Tom Brady retiring kind of opening up the NFC a little bit in terms of competition that they have out there. We don't know what the 49ers are going to look like at quarterback when either if they move off Garoppolo or they go to Trey Lance. Rams, they're the Super Bowl champions, but oftentimes there's a Super Bowl hangover that comes with that. So Green Bay really has the best opportunity. And all the AFC teams, there's so much competition there, as many people have brought up. So I don't really feel like it would really be a huge advantage for him to go to the division with Mahomes and Herbert, play for the Broncos, or to go to the Titans, where he would clearly win that division, but then you've got to face all the other quarterbacks in the AFC to include Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, other guys that I haven't really talked about yet. So because of that, I think this kind of pushed him that, if you just stay in Green Bay, you're going to have the best chance to win. So what this means now for a lot of these other teams. So Denver, a lot of hope that, maybe Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, etc., could have a boom in dynasty value now that Aaron Rodgers goes there. Well, that's not going to happen. So Denver is going to go the route of a new quarterback, and we're going to have to kind of wait and see what happens with those players. To be honest, though, in terms of those two receivers, Jerry Jeudy I'm not very high on to begin with. I think when Jerry Jeudy has played, he's really not been particularly effective. He's had a lot of hype around him because he's a big-time receiver coming out of Alabama, and that brings a lot of expectations because of the production set forth by the other Alabama receivers. But Jerry Jeudy has been inconsistent throughout his first two seasons, dealt with injuries, and ultimately I don't think is at a point where I would feel comfortable drafting him or having him on my dynasty roster just because there's so much uncertainty with how he'll actually do in the NFL. Another wide receiver for them, Cortland Sutton. I think is the best of those receivers, but ultimately I think that Denver's receiving core is going to come down to who they get at quarterback. I assume they're going to upgrade from Drew Lock. Not 100% sure, though, what they're going to do there. We have to wait and see with them. Tennessee, I think, it would have been nice if they had gotten Aaron Rodgers to pair with somebody like A.J. Brown. But I think more than likely Tennessee is going to be running it back with Ryan Tannehill at this point, so that takes away the questions with regards to that. There's going to be a lot of dominoes that I believe will start to fall when we get to free agency in the next few weeks with the quarterback position, now that we know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be returning. But at least for fantasy purposes, we know that Green Bay is going to relatively be the same team. There's going to be a lot of points for Devontae Adams, trusted wide receiver for Green Bay. I really don't see any possibility at all that he doesn't come back at this point. And it's probably going to be a situation where that second receiver is really not going to be particularly dependable. I think if any of them have a chance to break out, it's Allen Lazard, but we haven't seen that on a consistent basis yet to really trust him. I think the biggest thing in terms of Green Bay that you have to look forward to is that A.J. Dillon is, in my opinion, going to take over more of the reins of the backfield than Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has been the more highly drafted player, still the better fantasy performer in terms of total raw points, but I think A.J. Dillon is got a higher upside, a better runner of the football. And if they can get him involved in the passing game as well, which they've done on it sometimes, but not super consistently, that will really take him to the next level. So my only real, I guess, change in my predictions with Green Bay is that there's going to be some of the changing the guard in that running backfield to go from Aaron Jones to A.J. Dillon. But with Aaron Rodgers there, you could still pencil in this team as a great fantasy football offense, and Green Bay now, once again, is going to be competing for the Super Bowl. So Packers fans have to be thrilled at this news that he's going to be coming back there. So that's all I've got for this video. Once again, if you're interested in fantasy football content, please consider commenting, or subscribing to this video. Got a playlist of fantasy football content coming up in the conclusion of this video. I've also got a wide variety of other content too on this channel to include music, song covers, song reactions, etc. So check it out if you're interested in a wide variety of content on this channel. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.